Welcome back. We're putting our Driven 100 4x4s to the test. Can a group of farmers separate the wheat from the chaff? But first, could this be the most beautiful car in the world?
Here's a thought. Forget for a second our gradual slide into recession and ask yourself, what would 158 grand get you? Well, how's about a two-bedroom flat in North London, or even 13.5 brand new minis? In fact, 158 grand will get you a pretty smart boat or even a plane. Alternatively, you could buy James Bond's brand new car, the Aston Martin V12 Vanquish.
Aston Martin has had a bumpy ride over the last few years, but they are now owned by Ford, and in the Vanquish have created the most technologically advanced Aston yet.
And it's a completely different vehicle to the DB7. For a start, it's all new. It's got an F1 style semi-automatic 6-speed gearbox, mated to the most fantastic 6-litre V12 engine. It's essentially two Ford Mondeo V6 lumped together. But I'll tell you what, it won't disappoint for a few very good reasons. Firstly, it's got 460 horsepower, it's as smooth as silk, and it sounds fantastic.
This raucous lump will get you from 0 to 62 in just over 4 seconds, with 100 coming up in around 10. Impressive stuff for a car weighing in at nearly 2 tons.
The gearbox in here is the best I've ever driven, much better than what Ferrari can offer. One thing I do like is I can go down 4 gears. I'm in 6th at the moment. I'll go down to 2nd, you can barely feel it. So here we go. Just fantastic.
However, make use of this wonderful transmission and you'll be seeing an average of 16 miles per gallon. Less if you drive harder. I've even had it down under 2.
Hold on. Who am I trying to kid? If you've got enough wonga to buy this car, who gives a damn about fuel? This car is a statement. And as far as statements go, public nudity is a distant second.
All right, you're minted and you don't mind showing it. Let's pretend you're parked outside your country pile. What do you get for the money? Well, apart from the beautifully styled bodywork, the inside is free of wood. Instead, it's swathed in leather. It's comfortable and refined. But look closer, and some of the detail is disappointing.
All the buttons and the controls for the stereo and the heaters, they've been nicked out of a Jaguar. I think there's even some Ford switchgear. Also, the level of detail, the level of finish around the buttons is dreadful. Even the coat hanger falls off.
Faults like these are poor in any car, let alone one costing as much as a house. But get behind the wheel somewhere where you can really drive it, and it's hard to hold a grudge.
We're at a deserted test track. Oh dear, we're doing 170 miles an hour, and the thing still keeps going. I reckon before we get to the end, we're going to be touching 190, which in fact, we are now. Now the handling of the Vanquish is fantastic. The steering's well weighted, it rides the bumps well, it's got fantastic grip, it's pointy, it does everything you want to do. It really does transmit what's happening beneath the car to the driver.
Aston Martin has achieved something special with the Vanquish. More than just a lifestyle statement, it's easily a match for the Ferrari 550 Maranello. It's stunning to look at and has the performance to match, though at this price you'd expect perfection. But despite the niggles, the Vanquish is truly a supercar.
There's just time to enter our Lotus competition. Call 090 1303 1303 and predict the winner of this week's group test. Calls cost 50 pence. Now back to the Driven 100 and our soft-roaders. Rugged, uncomfortable and uncompromising in the early days, 4x4s had more in common with tractors than they do with modern cars. But our manufacturers claim that these cars are different. So we brought them down to Hadlow Agricultural College to find out if the lecturers and their students think that these cars can cut it today. Right, you lot, come and join us. This is the new X-trail. Step in, don't be shy. Is it making the right noises as a 4x4 should be?
It's a 4x4, but it's a comfortable 4x4. So you're going to be using it off-road
let's say, less than you would something a bit more basic.
What happens if it gets damaged on the front? How easy is it to repair?
In the olden days, we had a bumper. That's what it was there for. It was a bumper. If you damaged that, you just replace it. But now you have to replace the whole front panel of the car.
Does this have any appeal to you at all?
I think the only appeal would be, is the ground clearance better?
It's 195 millimetres in this car.
Because we certainly have problems with the flooding.
You want an amphibious vehicle, you?
This bit here is in the way. If you're in the back, you're third child, number 3, and you have to be a bit leggy. You can't, you know, it's stuck between your legs.
Mixed reviews for the chunky Nissan next to smaller RAV4.
It does feel more car-like, but why I would want to buy it because it looks more like a car and less like a four-wheel drive, I don't know.
I think if it's your first four-wheel drive and you move from a Fiesta or a smaller car into a four-wheel drive, it is actually very intimidating. This is like a transition.
So this is a beginner's four-wheel drive?
Almost, yeah.
You guys look squashed in the back.
It is, yes, it's hard. There's not really enough room for 3 people comfortably on a long journey, anything more than say half an hour. I think even less than that.
The door opens this way instead of upwards. I'm not sure.
Does it not open any more than that?
Yeah. That's as far as it goes.
Oh, that's no good at all, is it?
This is rubbish.
Hold on, Jake. Go and get your ring spanner.
Harsh words for the RAV4. Now time for the Ford Maverick.
That doesn't look very much different from our Fiesta.
No, exactly. I think they've just raked the parts bin out of every other Ford and thrown a geometry set at the dashboard there and come up with it.
There's more space around me in this one, if that makes sense. It's not so
Crammed in.
enclosed, crammed in. It feels less like a car, I think.
It feels quite a lot more basic than a RAV or something like that. And so therefore, if someone was driving this around and they took it off-road, I'd be less worried about knocking it about, you know what I mean? Because to replace bits and pieces parts, it might, I don't know, but it might work out cheaper.
Right, our students and lecturers of Hadlow College have had a look around our 3 cars, but it's time for them to vote which car they most desire. Right, you lot, run around now. Come on, big pile over at Minnie's end. Thank you. Queue up, orderly queue.
5.
Nice and straight down the side here. 10.
I have got 6.
Jay, I've got 15. You've got 15. I've got none, so it looks like Nissan got it wrong. Toyota got it half right, but the Ford Maverick, it's the winner.
What a surprise! The farmers went for the no-frills Ford. It scores 16, but we like the cars with a little more style, so we've given the Toyota and the Nissan 15 apiece. Now, bargains could be hard to come by on these cars, particularly the Nissan, which is almost too new for deals to be offered. But some importers are starting to offer 10 to 15% off.
Some UK brokers are offering up to 16% off the RAV4. Imports, though, are running at 12 to 13, while most dealers can save you just 7%.
And it's the same story for the Ford Maverick, with dealers and UK brokers saving you around 7 to 8%. And for more deals on new and used cars, log on to 4car.co.uk. And while we're talking Wonga, here are the cost of ownership figures on our Driven 100 cars. They include all running costs except insurance. And there are no surprises this week. All the motors come in at under 55 pence per mile to run, so they all net 17 points.
It's been a close-run battle this week, but there's got to be a loser, and it's the Toyota RAV4, the car that thinks it's an off-roader, with 64 points.
Basic but competent. The only thing Maverick about this Ford is its name, but it scores a more than bog-standard 67.
The new Nissan X-trail is far from extreme, but it is big, spacious, capable and comfortable, and with 68 it's this week's Driven 100 winner.
This week's Driven 100 has been a lot of fun. The Toyota RAV4 is the most popular car amongst middle-aged buyers, but unfortunately it's the least practical here.
The Ford Maverick, for all its sins and blandness, is an honest, decent, practical car.
But in this case, big isn't beautiful, but with a drive as good as it's got, who cares? The new Nissan X-trail is this week's winner. We'll see you next week.
Next week on Driven, we group test 3 cars that are certainly on our Christmas list. The Porsche 996 Turbo 4, the Ferrari 360 Modena and the TVR Tuscan S. And our farmers didn't like it, but will the Nissan X-trail score better with our Notting Hill Boy About Town?